Hi everybody. I am assuming that by now you've read for your 10 minutes and Mr. Glanzer put down your page numbers. And so now what we're going to do is he's going to distribute a worksheet, and this is going to be our characterization workshop. If you remember earlier in the year, we did some other workshops, an irony workshop, and this one is going to be where we analyze how characters change. Since we're going to be headed into a Gothic unit, which talks about the darker side of some kinds of literature, I thought this was a good time to put this in. So you're going to see at the top of your worksheet places for you to fill in some answers. So if I tend to go too fast for you, remember that you have a pause button. Okay? So characterization is the idea of somebody be calling a character. Well, on USA, they have a commercial that's called Being a Character. And we'll see if it comes up here. Yep.
Characters so original, they stick with you. USA Network. Characters welcome.
So what does it mean to be a character? Sorry about that, I have too many slides up. So what does it mean to be a character? Well, a character, in the essence of USA, to be a character, it means to be unique, to be your own person, to be a little bit quirky. Oh, he's such a character. But in literature, we look at 4 different elements. We look at how a character acts, their personality, how a character looks, what a character says, and what others say about a character. Okay? And so why not what a character feels? These are my adorable grandkids. Well, the reason is that sometimes we don't know what a character feels. That's related to point of view. So we're going to watch a video at this point that's going to talk about that, and it's going to mention how a character feels, but that is not one we're going to include because that's related to point of view.
Characterization is the way that the writer reveals the personality of a character. Even though this is a literary term, we can demonstrate its use using the movie Frozen. Characters are revealed through direct characterization and indirect characterization. Direct characterization tells the audience what the personality of the character is. A great example of this is the patient boy and the quiet girl were both well-mannered and did not disobey their mother. Here the author is directly telling the audience the personality of the 2 children. The boy is patient and the girl is quiet. Characters will also be revealed through indirect characterization. This type of characterization actually shows things that reveal the personality of the character. There are 5 different methods of indirect characterization: looks, speech, relationships, actions, and thoughts. In this scene, we see the way Anna wakes up completely disheveled, with her hair messy and all out of sorts. What does her appearance tell us about her character? I'd say she's very carefree because she wakes up peacefully and is unconcerned about her appearance.
You can't marry a man you just met. You can if it's true love. Anna, what do you know about true love?
In this scene, Anna is completely convinced that she's in love with and should marry someone that she just met. The fact that she said this shows that she doesn't have a full understanding of love yet and is very naive.
Hi, me? Oh, Hi. You look beautiful. Thank you. You look beautifuler. I mean, not fuller. You don't look fuller, but more beautiful.
Thank you.
So, this is what a party looks like. It's warmer than I thought.
This is when Anna and Elsa have their first real conversation in a long time. And Anna is acting kind of weird, which shows that she can be a bit awkward in some social circumstances.
She was scared. She didn't mean it. She didn't mean any of this. Tonight was my fault. I pushed her, so I'm the one that needs to go after her.
What? Yeah.
Bring me my horse, please.
When Duke attacks Elsa's character, it brings out a part of Anna that we haven't seen before. She defends her, which shows that she is loyal to her sister. This character trait is reinforced with that she decides to go after Elsa herself.
So we were so close. We can be like that again. No, we can't. Goodbye, Anna.
Since Elsa hurt Anna last time, she decides that going back to this friendship is not possible. This shows that she cares about Anna. Elsa is caring and protective of her sister and doesn't want her to get hurt.
I don't take people places.
Let me rephrase that. Take me up the North Mountain.
In this scene, Anna throws a sack of materials at Kristoff and politely demands to be taken up the mountain. The fact that she knew bringing the materials would convince him shows that she's resourceful, and the fact that she demands shows that she's determined to get to her sister.
We won't. Hey, you were right. Just like a pillow.
When the rope Kristoff and Anna are attached to his brow by the giant snowman, Anna does not hesitate to cut them free. This action shows how brave she is. So to overview, direct characterization tells the audience what the personality of the character is. Characters will also be revealed through indirect characterization. This type of characterization shows things that reveal the personality of the character. There are 5 different methods of indirect characterization: looks, speech, relationships, actions, and thoughts. These characterization skills will assist you in understanding the many different characters you meet in literature.
All right. So now that we've learned that a character has characterization comes directly or indirectly, and remember, we're not going to have thoughts or feelings because that depends on point of view. So let's look at the next page a little bit further down on your work. So let's judge by appearances. Let's read this excerpt from literature. My sister, Mrs. Joe, with black hair and eyes, had such a prevailing redness of skin that I used to wonder whether it was possible she washed herself with a nutmeg grater instead of soap. She was tall and bony, and almost always wore a coarse apron, having a square, impenetrable bib in front that was stuck full of pins and needles. So at your tables right now, what I want you to do is to talk. Do you think that the character Mrs. Joe is a positive or a negative character? Circle the words that support it. So if you believe Mrs. Joe is a positive character, you will circle the words that demonstrate it's positive. If you believe that it's a negative, she is a negative character, then circle the words related to negative. Hit pause now. Well, you should have come up with she was a negative character. Why? Well, black hair and eyes, whoops, I have horrible drawing there, usually indicates that a character is not as positive as they could be, okay? In literature, this is always kind of seen as negative. Notice that she had the redness of skin to the point where they thought that she washed herself with a nutmeg grater, which means that it was a very coarse skin. She was tall, which is not necessarily negative or positive, but the fact that they added bony. She had a coarse apron, not a smooth, not a silk one, and an impregnable bib, which means nothing's getting past her. And the fact that it was stuck with pins and needles makes it seem negative. So what if we just make one slight change? Look at how Mrs. Joe changes here. My sister, Mrs. Joe, with dark hair and eyes, had such a fresh rosiness of skin that I used to wonder whether it was possible she washed herself with rose petals instead of soap. She was tall and slender and always wore a snowy white apron, having a lacy heart-shaped bib in front that embroidered with rosebuds and daisies. So now the dark hair and eyes no longer have a negative connotation because these words make us realize that she is positive. So some things that might be taken both ways, we have to look at all of the qualities that make a character. Because once a character is seen as either positive or negative, they're positive, negative all the way through. What I want us to understand is that authors don't flip-flop. They're either one or the other. Which would you prefer for an older sister or guardian? As a reader, it's important to remember that writers want you to know what to think about characters in the story, with the aim of having all readers feel they've had the same experience and read the same story. They provide clues such as those in the paragraph. Remember, too, that it's an author's fictional world. Nothing happens, no words are used, no character is introduced unless the author wants it that way. Good authors know that words not only have literal meanings but also emotional responses. They use this knowledge to help readers know how to react correctly with their characters. For example, denotation and connotation, which by now we should have down. So let's take a look at this first quality. Now, I want you to write in where you see these underlined. Down at the bottom, you're going to write them in. And then there's a small line in front of it to indicate whether a character is positive, negative, or neutral. Now, the thing I want us to understand is that a character is usually all one or the other. A character is not going to flip-flop. So once you see the pattern, for example, 5 qualities that are positive, the rest of them are probably positive as well. An author might throw in a neutral once in a while, but that is very rare. So let's look at this first one. He was a well-built boy with very black, rather curly hair, good teeth, and skin that his sisters envied. And he had a ready and unpuzzled smile. He was fast on his feet and did his work well, and he loved his sisters, who seemed beautiful and sophisticated. He loved Madrid, which was still an unbelievable place, and he loved his work, which, done under bright lights with clean linen, the wearing of evening clothes, and abundant food in the kitchen, seemed romantically beautiful. So now take this time to write all of those in and indicate whether the phrases are positive, negative, or neutral. Hit pause now. All right, welcome back. So you probably discovered that this character was definitely a positive character. Okay. Looking at the quality that the author used, does the character seem worldly wise or naive and innocent? Well, worldly wise means that he is the way of the world. He may be cynical. He may say he was out for things. He may think that, he might not see the world. He sees the world in a very real way. And in this case, he is more than likely a naive and innocent, because Madrid is a fairly large city. And in this paragraph, it doesn't describe him seeing the crime or the slums or the poverty. He just sees everything as being romantically beautiful. If you look at the clues, what do you think he does for a living? Pause now while you talk about it. Well, I'm thinking you're going to come up with, he is probably a busboy or a waiter. How did I decide that? Well, it was under bright lights, clean linen, which is like napkins and tablecloths, and the customers wear evening clothes. He gets to eat in the kitchen, and it's a romantic place to be. And finally, we can make some inferences, some guesses about the boy's hometown and family background. Let's start with family background. Notice that it says that he is a well-built boy and a skin that his sisters envied. It doesn't say that he has any brothers, so we might infer that he's the only boy. And if we take that a step further, do you think he is the older brother or the younger brother? Well, my guess is he is the younger brother. Now again, these are inferences that as we read on, we might find out are wrong. But for the most part, we have enough evidence to support that he is probably the only boy, and maybe a young boy, because they envy his good skin. Now, what about his hometown? It says he loved Madrid, and he almost sees it like a small town. He believed it was an unbelievable place. He believed it was a romantic place, and he was excited to be part of this community. Okay? All right, so now what you're going to do before you come to class tomorrow is the rest of these exercises. Complete both sides, positive, negative, or neutral, and answer the questions that go along with it. All right, we'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.